work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank the lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Hi, Teresa. I met you here at, what is this event called again? United?
The Liberty Festival.
Liberty Festival short. That's good. And I love this shirt you're wearing, and so I wanted you to tell a little bit about it.
Well, thanks. Nice to meet you too. This is one of my favorite shirts. I ordered it about a year ago, and it says, "Those who give up essential liberty for a little safety deserve neither," which is roughly what Benjamin Franklin said, one of our founding fathers.
It is.
And the reason I wear it is because I feel like it's important to recognize that we all have personal choices to make every day. We're all living a life full of risk, and we have to choose between liberty and safety all day long, every day. And being in the United States of America, it is our right to make that choice.
I love it. Thank you so much for your efforts and for this beautiful shirt you're wearing.
The rumor that I am on the $100 bill, that my image is on the $100 bill. I have always been very fond of paper money. Pray tell, is there anyone here in this audience who has a $100 bill who can confirm this rumor? Please come forward. Please come forward. You have a $100 bill? Please come forward, sir, to confirm this rumor. Wow, there's quite a likeness there. Well, sir, what was your name? Jim? Visock. Visock, I want to thank you. I thank you very much. I just wanted to see if it's true that a fool and his money are soon parted. Philadelphia, to be one of the delegates to the Constitutional Convention. And at this time, there's a great deal of disunity, like I understand you suffer from today. A great deal of discourse and argument and fighting. And therefore, I propose that every morning session begin with a prayer to Providence, so that we would thank him for winning the war. And I will tell you that it was an extremely important moment in our history to thank God for all the many times that he intervened so that we would win this war of independence. I have lived a long life, and the longer I live, the longer I am convinced of this one thing, that God governs in the affairs of men.
As an example, side example, Costco as an entity has been as militant as any company I've seen about masks, and just you come in here, you're going to wear a mask if you don't. My wife and I fired Costco a year ago. We terminated our membership. Costco's return policy, man, you can't beat that. We returned a tent that was like 8 years old and torn up and stuff after I terminated my membership. I love that part of Costco, but for a year now, we've not been members of Costco because of that exact reason. Is if you're going to make me do something, then I have a choice to make, that I'm going to either continue to do what you tell me to do, or I'm walking away. And I'm going to offer to you that sometimes we need to walk away. When it comes to Delta Airlines and Coke infringing on Georgia's rights to dictate their voting rights, are you drinking Coke? Are you flying on Delta? You ought to think twice about that, is what I'd suggest. But you do what you want, because this is a liberty-minded people, as I am too. But as long as these people get our children in their schools, and as long as these people take our money, then they're going to continue to run over our rights to choose for ourselves. So I'm going to offer you that thought in a general circumstance and say to you that we can promote liberty with our own day-to-day actions. And I want to hear from you. I love to serve you, and I'm grateful that you're here today on this beautiful sunny day. And I'll finish just by saying, God bless the United States of America, and God bless the great state of Utah. Thank you very much for having me here today.
Hello everyone. I want to introduce you to a friend in Liberty, Liberty in Christ, Alina Erickson. You are a friend of Liberty. Yes. So she is an amazing woman, and you're going to hear more. You're going to hear her speak today.
Yes, we'd like to welcome her here. Please put your hands together for Alina Erickson.
So I'm going to do it different today. I had to kick off my shoes because I'm not standing up here in heels. It's so good to be here. I've met so many of actual Facebook friends, and I'm like, hey, we know each other, so this is great. So today I wanted to talk about some of my dreams. And one of my dreams is that we live in a country that we love liberty enough that we will do anything to make sure that we secure that. Additionally, that we have law enforcement that loves liberty enough that they will do anything to defend that liberty, because we are nothing without natural rights. Is that correct? Yep. Our natural rights come from God. I am kind of nicknamed the affidavit lady because I'm the one that collected the affidavits from all over the state of Utah. And I decided to try the system because we have a perfect system. We pay taxes on that system. And I submitted 700 pages of documentation to Sheriff Smith over Herbert, and between the two sheriffs that I was working on in Sanpete County over Cox. The sheriffs are the highest law enforcement in the state. They have direct connection with the governor. And so that was going right where we needed to go. And I wanted to see what would happen. But more than anything, I wanted to send the message that we have a system that we need to use. It is up to us as people to step it up and make sure that people are actually doing their jobs. The reason I think this is important is because I believe that 2020 would have never happened if law enforcement stepped it up. And that's the bar that I want to raise. It's not enough to have a sheriff say, I'm not going to cite you and I'm not going to arrest you over masks. That doesn't make a hero. What makes a hero is somebody who says, you are acting as a criminal and infringing on the rights. You're damaging lives. We need law enforcement. Let me be clear. I love the blue. It is not a matter of defund the police, and it's not a matter of back the blue. There is a fine line in the middle. And that's where I want to take the next level. So many of you know that, some of you know, I was actually back in Oklahoma 2 weeks ago, and I was with Lynn Wood in the back room. I told Lynn Wood what we were doing, what I was doing in Utah, and he said, you're a smart girl. You hold those sheriffs accountable and make sure they do their job, even if it makes them uncomfortable. I love this wind. So the second thing I want to talk to you about is how to get active. Get out your phones, and I want you to type in UtahFreedomCoalition.org. On this website, you can find any passion that you have, whether it's the Second Amendment, whether it's medical freedoms, educational freedoms, whatever you want. There's committees that are being formed. Secondly, there's candidates. We've got to get good people in office. It is up to us. We need to fill this. We need to vet people. This is a website that we can unify and that we can come together with. I want to stop pandering to businesses, to schools, to people who do not share our values and in fact are destroying the fabric of our society. We have got to create, so this is one of the messages I took from Oklahoma, from all these General Flynn, all these people. We have got to get to a place where we create a parallel economy. Don't forget that our ancestors came to Utah with nothing on their back, maybe a broken wagon. They created this great state. I believe we are innovative enough that we can do it. Our state motto is industry and thrift. We got it, we can pull together, and we can do it. Woo. Finally, my message for you is God made you free, so stay free. Now is the time to stand up and fight back. We have to take this to the next level. In the words of Jim Caviezel, he said, "History will record that those who stood to lose the most did the least." I will not be on that list, and I hope you will join me on that. In closing, I want to share a mantra because I believe that the spirit of liberty comes from Christ. He is the author of liberty, and it is through him that we can be blessed. This is his battle. This is not a new one. There has always been a battle between captivity and liberty, and we have that opportunity to be God's soldiers. We need to step it up. We need to do it. I am a disciple of Christ. I must give until I drop, preach until all hear and know, and work until he comes. And when he comes, he may know me because he will recognize me. My colors will be clear. I believe in you. We are patriots. It is time to rise, time to come together and fight back. Thank you.
Give it up for Alina Erickson.
Johnson, yes. Look at all those fans. I love it.
Thank you. We're so thrilled to be able to be here today to support parents across the state of Utah and here in the great city of Vineyard. So we have this awesome letter for you guys over at our little booth over here. And this is one of the most powerful, I guess you can call it a document, because this outlines parental rights that you have here in the state of Utah. But these parental rights are not granted by the state. They are just protected by the state. These are God-given parental rights that all of us need to know in our hearts that we have and to continue to fight for their preservation in the state of Utah. First and foremost, that parents retain the fundamental right and duty to exercise primary control over the care, supervision, upbringing, and education of their children. There is a rebuttal presumption that a parent's decisions are in the child's best interest. We are watching our government at this moment decide for parents what is in our children's best interest, and that is not okay. The government doesn't get to tell you that something, a mask, a shot, a test, is safe for your child and appropriate for your child and should be forced on your child. That is a parent's decision. And in Utah Parents United, we will fight with you to help you preserve those rights. We've started this organization with a group of parents in Davis County who fought for education rights for their children. And this has just exploded across the state of Utah. We now have 10,000 parents part of our email group, and we message and send out emails. We've created an app for you guys because this is all about connecting with other parents and fighting together. You guys go to utahparentsunited.org. It's right here on this sheet. When you come get your sheet, go to districts and find your school districts, and you can join a mobilized group where you will connect with parents in your schools and in your communities. We are announcing school board meetings so you can attend your school boards. We have cottage meetings. We're sharing information for you guys because this is how we preserve our rights. We do it at our parent-child level and at the school level and at the district level. I had an opportunity to chase down Governor Cox today at the Republican convention. It was a lot of fun. We ran around, we had our phones, we're screaming, "Governor Cox, we're parents, will you listen to us?" Because they're not listening to us. And we cornered him and we forced him to listen to us. And I even put a See My Smile sticker right on his lapel. He needed to look us in the eyes. He needs to acknowledge us And he told us parents standing there, he made us a promise. Now, I don't put a lot of weight in a promise from Governor Cox, but what I do put weight on is that we can hold his feet to the fire on this promise. And that is that he promised that the children in the state of Utah would not be masked and would not have tests to play in the fall. And we promise at Utah Parents United to hold him to that with your help. So come join us and we will continue to fight. Thank you.
Hello, Captain Carl.
Hello.
So I am doing great, and I saw you at this Freedom Festival out here in Orem, and I wanted you to let our listeners know what you have right there, your instrument. Tell us about it. We're very curious.
If one would read the Bible, you'll find out that this instrument right here is called the trump of God. It has another name called the shofar. It was blown by the Israelites during the time of Moses, and anybody who they went up against, they were defeated, as these were blown around the Ark of the Covenant. This apparel, which I'm wearing, is called a tallit. These were also worn by the trumpeters of the trumpets of God. And it's the same trump of God, not the very same, but an exact facsimile of the trump of God that was used to blow down the walls of Jericho. So right now, we are trying to blow down the walls of the deep state.
Absolutely.
And this came from Jerusalem. This is the real deal right here.
Woo!
Let
me get a close-up of it.
Yeah, and you can see the
Wow.
lion and all that, Jerusalem, right here. I got it upside down. You can see all that.
And does it?
And the
What
ornaments.
kind of animal does it come from?
It comes from a certain type of sheep that are known to be in that area, a desert
Wow.
sheep. And it has this is called toroidal. It creates a force that goes in a circular form. As it comes through the shofar, the forces are actually multiplied enormously. And these sounds go right up to the ears of God. And so when we blow these, we are specifically honoring God and asking Him to come upon the people to give us the powers that we need. In this particular case, to restore the rule of law upon
Absolutely.
presidents, upon the Supreme Court of the United States, and upon all Republicans and Democrats.
I agree. Thank you so much. I appreciate what you do.
Thank you, and God bless you.
Lee for standing up for religious freedom. He is a business owner, author, and the founder of the Coalition Utah Business Revival. He loves local, revitalizing small businesses and organizing events centered on freedom. He has a documentary which you must all see, guys. It's awe-inspiring, called Non-Essential. Write that down. Non-Essential. If you've seen it, go see it if you haven't seen it yet, guys. Eric is a true leader in our community, and I want to see you guys give him a big standing ovation. Get on your feet. Welcome to the stage, Eric Moutsos. Energy, energy.
Because we have so many politicians in the state of Utah that care more about their office than they do about you. And they care how they're gonna look versus what's right. And to me, I know this is gonna probably maybe upset a few of you who have been in the fight for liberty, but this is our fault. This is our fault. And it's my fault, and I'm telling you, it's my fault. Because when I got out of Salt Lake City Police, I ran, I fled Babylon, and I went to St. George, into that beautiful weather, by the way. And this is beautiful, but St. George is amazing. And I left, and I thought that my patriotic duty was posting memes, right? Who loves memes? Raise your hand if you love memes. Memes are my drug of choice. I get into Facebook jail every other week because of the memes, but I love them so much. And we do have to post memes, but that's not going to be enough. So then when I realized during the 2 weeks to slow the spread, I got a call from one of my friends who's a police officer in Salt Lake City, and they were literally going from call to call to call because the mayors, Mendenhall, they put up a snitch line in Salt Lake City that you can snitch on your neighbor if you're not social distancing. This is in Salt Lake City, you guys. This is in the United States of America. And so what I did, and a lot of you know because you went, but I called the snitch line. And I turned myself in. And I said, hey, there's going to be a police officer that's going to do a big rally this weekend. And the dispatcher said, well, he can't do that. And I said, he's coming. How many people went to that first rally? Give yourselves a round of applause. Okay, I have to do this. My ADD is kicking in. If you're under 18, stand up. If you're under 18 years old, stand up. Stand up. Give a round of applause to these guys. I hope you guys feel that, because that's a spirit of liberty right here. When we gather in the name of liberty and we gather in the name of God, it's tangible. You can feel it. And I don't say anything new at these things. There's nothing new that I'm going to say. But there's a feeling, and it's not fear. Because fear is crippling. Fear is not of God. God created us to do just what we're doing right here. He created us with immune systems that can fight off a virus with a 99.9% survivability rate. Did you guys know that? Isn't that amazing? That's how he created us. But what did we do a year ago? Where did we turn? Did we turn to God? Or did we turn to government? Because therein lies the problem. Where are we turning? And I'm just here to testify that God needs you. Right now, he needs you, and he needs your voice. And I know there's so many people, like when I was just walking around, well, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? And I just want to testify that it starts small. Just like Julie Fulmer was saying, it starts small. God does not begin by asking us about our ability. And this is Neil A. Maxwell. He said, God doesn't begin by asking us about our ability, but only our availability. And when we prove our dependability, he will increase our capability. I got a call from Jake Oakes weeks ago. And he said, Eric, this is kind of hard. This is kind of stressful. And I said, yes, it is. And I'm really glad that you're doing it and not me. So give it up for Jake Oakes. Come give me a hug. Because without this guy, we wouldn't be here. My wife was like, oh, he wants to do a selfie. You guys put your hands up and say liberty. But he made you to shine right now. I testify that you have a mission. You have a mission inside of you right now. Like Corinne, she has a mission. Corinne, stand up. I'm so proud of Corinne because she did this See the Smile. It's so awesome to me. And it starts small. And so you'll come up to me, well, what can I do? What can I do? And I don't know. But you know who does know? God. And you know where it starts? Just like it starts in my house when I'm going around like a crazy madman and my wife's looking at me and she's like, hey, Eric, can you help me with the kitchen? And I look around and I think, yeah, I can do that. Sometimes it starts with the dishes because God's just going to say, okay, if you can do this, in other words, if we don't have our houses in order, how can we have our communities in order? How can we do that? And so this last election that we saw, this lie, okay, and I'll get into that in a second. What we saw is that one of the greatest fighters, in my opinion, a man that I regret that I did not even vote for the first time, and I'm ashamed of myself for even saying that, is that one of the greatest fighters since George Washington, President Donald J. Trump, that he himself could not do it. Why? Because it was a testament that that's not the answer. Not even he could stop that machine. And that we have to do it locally. And if we don't do it locally, we can't do it on a state level. And if we can't do it on a state level, clearly we cannot do it on a national level. So Donald Trump, that was a witness. And this entire this entire year has been a lie. It's been a lie. Can you guys just feel it? Like when it first started, you just felt that in your soul? That's because you have a gift from God. It's a spiritual gift that you know something's not right. So when COVID hit, I knew that it was wrong. I knew it, but I was still posting memes, and people love the memes, and I'm like, what can I do? And so I said a prayer. I said, God, what can I do? And then I saw, in my head, I saw a whole bunch of businesses just like this. I saw a whole bunch of people, and I didn't know how that was going to come to pass. And he showed me the Utah Business Revival that night, and I didn't know how it was going to be because I can't organize. Like, you should see my desk at my house. Oh my gosh, it's embarrassing. But people came. People like Jake Oaks came, and he sent me a message and said, hey, I want to help you out. And then a music stages, and I just had this thought, and I said, we're going to have a concert. Who went to that concert? So we pulled off the first concert in the United States of America since COVID with Colin Ray. We did that. And I believe it was because God wanted that to be done. And we pulled off the first concert in the United States of America in Utah. But we were the rebels. We were the ones that didn't love. We were the ones that didn't care. And we just need to articulate ourselves. It's like, no. I love you so much that I'm going to tell you the truth. And so they shared with me a scripture, one of my favorite scriptures. Love one another, even as I have loved you. And the missionary wanted a response from me. And they said, what do you think about that? And I said, I love that scripture. I love that scripture so much, especially the second part, even as I have loved you. And I said, did you know that they considered Jesus a felon of his time? Why? Because he loved us so much that he was willing to speak the truth and his own. He loved us so much that he was willing to speak the truth. And sometimes he spoke and it wasn't very nice. Fools, hypocrites, snakes, vipers. But guess how he did it? He did it with perfect love. And so whether you're a maskite or not a maskite, or a vaxite or not a vaxite, that is not the test. The test is, are we going to love one another? Are we going to love the ones that we disagree with? That's the test. You talk about the wheat and the tares, and that the Lord allows the wheat and the tares in the last days. That's what you're seeing. And the wheat, what is the wheat? The wheat is full of fruit. Well, what is the fruit of the Spirit? It's love. And sometimes love is saying things that makes people feel uncomfortable. But right now, it's very uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable when our kids are still in masks for federal dollars. That's uncomfortable. And it's uncomfortable that we're taking so much money into the state of Utah. That's a whole nother issue that I don't want to get into. But starting with COVID-19, yeah, it's a real virus. It's real. But it's a lie. It's Satan's using it. Masks, lie. Social distancing, lie. The race wars, lie. When I was a Salt Lake City police officer, I never heard a racial slur, not once. Not one time from any officer. And if it was they're making fun of themselves like anyone else does, right? It's a lie. Police across the nation, in my opinion, are doing a phenomenal job. Especially, now there are times, right? There are times when you see a cop, chasing someone down on the beach, because they're out there surfing. But in the state of Utah, I'm telling you, the state of Utah, the police did a phenomenal job, and it's a lie if anyone tells you not. There's a couple cases, but give a round of applause to the police in Utah. And yeah, sure. We can be doing more, right? And we can blame the police, we can blame the government, but in the end, it's our fault. We should have been at the very beginning, no, we're not gonna do this. And if everybody would have said no, it would have been not an issue. And so I hope, I gotta probably wrap it up, but I hope that if anything like this again happens, stand up. because there's so many people that believe just like you believe. There's so many people, even in your own church, they believe like you believe. So be the light. Be that light, that annoying light, okay? And sometimes they're going to call you names. Sometimes they're going to say these things. But do what you feel is right, because that's your conscience. That is your Jiminy Cricket. If you don't believe in God, okay, follow the universe or whatever it is you believe. Follow that light, because that's going to lead you to truth. And I want to testify that in the end, even though this is scary times, in the end, God wins. And if we stay on his side and we stay on his principles, everything is going to be okay. Thank you so much, and God bless America.
Is this a great event, Fauna?
Oh, this is awesome.
I love the speakers. Glad you're here.
God bless the USA! Thank you so much.